going on, everyone? I am a little late. I hope that everybody's doing well today, and let's go ahead and get right into this light stream message for the week. Again, these are for about 3 days prior to about 3 days after each stream that I make, so you should be feeling these energies purveying. It kind of sets you up for success, gives you something to think about, gives you something to inner dialogue about. There's definitely a lot to be gained from watching these regularly. I appreciate everybody who has been giving me support, and if you haven't, go check out the 5XL. I'll be including a link when I finalize the post here. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop right in here. Energies purveying through the week are going to be a lot of just awareness of self-limiting beliefs, because right now where the moon is at, we are 4 degrees 45 in Virgo. So a lot of this self-limiting thought process or self-sabotage, I'm not good enough, I don't have nobody in my corner, like these kind of thoughts can start, bubbling up during this time. And also to add on top of that, the month of April in rune usage is the month of the cuckoo. So it's so interesting that mental health itself is so prioritized during the spring season. Like the spring season, mental health is so important because there's so much wellspring of this newfound energy, and there's so much grieving for the winter months, and it's sort of like, okay, now I can finally get out there. You have a dog on a leash and you let it go and they can finally run and be free. Like, that's the energy right now. So again, practicing a little bit of reservation and a little bit of mindfulness is going to take you leaps into getting ahead of the game as far as effectively utilizing the spring energy to set yourself up for success in these coming months towards summer. Again, though, within these next three days or so, just be very aware of letting it pass through you. These are just indicators of the ego, self-limiting beliefs. It's not necessarily self-negativity. It's all an act of the body and the mind to say this is where we are safe. This is what has kept us safe. However, for enlightenment to happen, we have to challenge those boundaries. We have to set ourselves up for expansion, and that's scary to the ego because it's not safe. It's who knows what's out there type of energy. So let it come, but also let it pass. Like, honor it. Honor the ego in saying that, I understand that I'm just acting to my highest benefit when I don't want to explore and I don't want to, go out there and see into the unknown and be out there in the thick of it. So it's like totally understandable. But again, it's pushing the boundaries. Right now you have that springtime energy. So instead of using it to limit yourself, use it to expand and explore. Again, acting with reservation. And that way you can really kind of open up your mind, open up your avenues, new opportunities. Don't, sabotage before you've even put yourself out there. I guess is really what I'm trying to say as far as that. Also this week we are going to be eating for our wellness. And in order to do that, it's it's time to look at our diet as anti-inflammatory because again, with these warmer seasons, we can't eat the same things that we were eating during the winter, as the more hearty meals are going to leave you feeling sluggish and inflamed, and you'll have the itis, so to speak. So just make sure that, you're limiting breads, red meat, anything that's going to be inflammatory to your system. Just be very aware of what you're putting in. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much all there is to say about that. The Mediterranean diet's really good. If you are into breads, make sure you're having it with some fruit. Olive oil is a great way to also process those heavier carbs. Just kind of do a little more deep diving into anti-inflammatory ways to have a good diet that doesn't deprivate you. You know, when I talk about diet, I'm not talking about starvation or losing weight. It's really just about inflammatory diets. And I was just talking to a family member who's severely inflamed, and it's frustrating because I can't just go over there and take care of it because I'm a massage therapist. But it's also, you know, we have to examine our habits and examine, you know, what is what is, and this is what I can do on my end. But if the problems progress to the point where it hurts just to move, you know, then you're going to probably have to go seek some professional help at that point. So don't get there. Eat anti-inflammatory today. Moving on, money is also in the air right now, and it's money matters as far as not how I'm going to get the money, but how am I utilizing my current resources? How am I, like, applying my own finances to the best outcome for security and for well-being? Yeah, some entertainment, but is it more or less? Or can I get the help I need? Like, can I afford a dentist? Or if a doctor's appointment comes up, can I afford these things? How is your money working for you? You know, do you have enough in savings? Do you have any savings? Do you have anything put away? Are you investing? So these are all questions that you should be kind of ruminating on this week. It's not how do I get more money, because that's not the energy. It's how do I utilize my current finances to my best ability. Again, success is not just momentum. It's putting forth the gratitude for the moment. So whatever you do have, even if it's only, you know, $20 to your name, how are you going to use that to really set yourself up to posture for the arrival of more and more and more by having the gratitude for that 20. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just going to leave it at that. So just whatever you have, start writing it down, which leads to the next thing, is start writing down your ideas. And I know I am always talking about, you know, write it down, write it down, write it down. But again, that spring energy that we're in, we are all sort of in this, you know, the gun went off, gun safety is important. The start of the race, and we're off, you know. So definitely, as this new energy comes through, you're going to have all these new ideas. Write those down. Write those down, write those down, write those down. As they come, of course. So moving on from that, we are also in the energy, and these are more or less just sort of vibrations to kind of, again, to set you up for alignment versus what's going to cause some discourse. So just like we were just talking about money matters, it's not a week to spend money. It's not a week to, you know, have it up, you know, it's all on me. Make sure everybody has enough to cover their own meal, like, so to speak, this week. Even if you got it like that, you're not doing nothing for your friends if they're constantly looking to you, or your family members if they're constantly looking to you to, you know, pay for this, pay for that. There definitely needs to be some tethering. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And even if there's not, you know, you can go ahead and just, you know, just make your boundaries where you can. You know, because people do need help. On that same note, don't shit talk this week. So, again, like, that fire that we're still very much in Aries, so we can all be very much like, you know, just let it burn. Who cares? I'm just going to start over, like, who cares about this person? Who cares about this place or this career? Whatever, I can do what I want. Like, they did this, and they did that, and they did that. And then you start this whole, like, investment of energy, time, and your resources emotionally to extend your, you know, perception of said person, place, or thing. And all you're really doing is showing that you are very much in alignment with that person that you're talking shit about, or that place that you're talking shit about, or the circumstances that you're talking shit about. Like, so again, we have to take accountability back for ourselves. So if I say this about so-and-so, how they're never doing this, how they're never doing that, and how it's always like this and it's always like that, Or, you've been going to a place with your friends and all of a sudden it's not the place no more and I can't stand that place and da 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 da. It's how you sound. It's not the person or the place or the energy that you're describing and people just taking your word for it. It's God, they make you like that, like, and now you're complaining like that. Like, again, where is the gratitude? So when we take ourselves and our judgmental mindset out of the equation and the ego of self-preservation out of the equation, we can really be present to fully say, I am going to be accountable for how I feel, and this is how I'm responding and how I'm not responding, and this is how I'm going to deal, and juxtaposed to whatever's happening over there. It's not my monkey, it's not my circus, So, just to kind of wrap that up, just be very mindful of what comes out because you will get it back. And I think that's the best way of saying it, karma. We all like to say that, karma's a bitch or whatever, but the real focal of that is karma is karma. And whether you're putting out good or you're speaking good, you should also be getting that back. So if you're constantly putting out negative, portrayals of things in your life, people are no longer going to look at you as the positive thing in your life. They're going to wonder what you're doing to allow all of that negativity in. And then you become part of it. I remember I was helping out a friend and I had helped them out to the point where it was actually two of them, to the point where I had lost my home. I had lost my light bill. It was bad. And I remember another person was like, I'm going to do some mirror therapy with you. And he's like, describe them. And I just started rapping about how they're always dirty, they're scruffy, they don't take care of themselves. He's like, okay, I'm going to show you yourself in the mirror. And I was all of those things that I had said. Unbeknownst to me, I had become disheveled and, I was living amongst them for so long that it was like I was now one of them. And that's what alignment dictates, is you will become that which you allow in. So again, it's like I talk about it every week. All of these people who scream about, get those toxic people out of your life. Well, accountability. You have to say, I let them in. I let them in with open arms. We connected through trauma. And then we turned into that trauma. We turned into that abandonment. And we left everything to abandon. And now here we all are with nothing. Somebody needs to hear it. So, there it is. It's mind your circles and mind how you're speaking about them. Because words are very magical. Words are the mysticism that create worlds. In the Bible it says God spoke and the universe was. When you pray, you verbally pray, and amen is, the catalyst for that prayer. You're speaking, magic, or you're doing rituals. You chant with your breath. There's power in that. So remember, you have that power in your speech. So if you're using it to curse and to hex and to damn and to rot all this perception and illusion about your environment, all you're doing is wreaking havoc in your environment. I'm getting really passionate, so I'm going to back off of this one now. So again, the other thing about that, and to kind of follow it up, is don't be neutral about things either. If you have an issue, if there is an issue within your own personal circle, it's time to talk. It's time to sit down and say, look, this is how I'm feeling, and this is how this has all come around to this point that we're both at. And again, that we're both at. So whoever needs to hear that, maneuver around that, okay? You can't just shit talk, and one, you cannot just be neutral either. So, you're either gonna, again, like the title says, you're either gonna control the fire to what you're burning out of your life and let it be done, and move forward with the best intentions for what you left behind, or you're going to throw everything into absolute chaos and anarchy and let it sort itself out through that process, because chaos is a process. More things were probably accomplished in the process of chaos than, you know, can be accounted otherwise. Anyways, so moving forward from that, things that we do want to do is we do want to get to the bottom of things. So again, turn into your own little Nancy Drew this week. Do your own investigative work. You know, ask questions. Question everything. You know, if you feel like there's a conspiracy going on, you know, question. You know, is all of this happening to me, or is all this happening like aggressively, you know, behind my back? Like, so it's time to question the authority of the world around you. This Aries season is prime for putting yourself at the helm of standing up for yourself and what you believe in, and what your plans are, and where you're asserting yourself, and where you're manifesting all these dreams and desires. This is where I stand, and this is where I'm going, and I'm gonna get there, period. So again, question everything around you right now. We are scheming for success. You know, so do what you have to achieve what you have to. Again, it's the conqueror season. It's also the crazy season. So, you know, get out there and get it, and be wild and free, and, you know, just find yourself where you need to be to collectively reap the best benefits for yourself. You know, it's a little bit on the cuff of a little bit more chaotic than I like to conduct myself. It's just my Capricorn sun speaking. But again, I understand it, and I also utilize it. You know, I have had moments where I have had to make very cutthroat decisions to get to where I am today. And I'll probably still have to do that. But we can be friends. And I won't shit talk about you. I'll tell you to your face, girl, you're fucking up. So as far as the energies pervading the week, that's kind of where we're at. The moon transits for today, we're feeling possessive, which is, it can be like, I own everything is mine, and you better do what I say, and, you know, why isn't this here, here, and here? Like, that's the possessive mind. Again, it's all ego, just trying to preserve yourself. So it's gonna come. So just let it come and then let it go. You know, we are also in a collective mind state. So get a consensus. Get a consensus. You know, talk to the people in your environment and get to the bottom of things. Again, just going back to what I was saying earlier. You can trust yourself if you start to feel sentimental, and you can start to soften a little bit. Do that. That's probably the best advice of this whole stream. If you can soften yourself before you attack, do that. Because that's going to lead into much more progress for you and on all involved. There's deep feelings also, like, bubbling up. So again, if you can provide the safe space to collectively see and identify, I'm speaking my own reality right now, but identify with what those around you are feeling and be sympathetic and empathetic towards it. You know, put yourself in their shoes, so to speak. It's important. You know, fleeting depression is also going to be with us again. It's important to also make time for your own grieving of the situation that's upon you, and your own grieving for everything that's happening through you. You know, whether that's you as the catalyst or you as a ward of that catalyst, definitely just be available right now for that change. And you can do that by processing your own emotions as they come. That way you don't find yourself, you know, passing along those emotions in process and those deep feelings. We're also having enhanced creativity. It's so important. And that's like why I jumped on today, because I almost didn't. I had to do so much today. So much today. House, outside stuff that I'm doing, and just getting paperwork all like set up for some other stuff that I'm doing. But then it was all done. And I was like, oh my gosh, I still have time to get my stuff together. Let's do this. So if you can do something creative for you today, be that spirituality, music, writing, poetry, like, do it. Athleticism. You want to go try to learn how to do a backflip? Like, it's a great, beautiful day to go do that. You know, I had a lot of caffeine. I'm probably talking really fast. Important events coming up is Mars in Pisces is on the way, which will start on Thursday. And that's the confrontation of ourselves. So again, we look at ourselves in the mirror and what am I putting out? What do I see? And honestly, like, if you're watching this, I want you to think about how you think everything around you in your world is right now, be it positive, negative, grateful, whatever. Go into a mirror. Like, write it all down and then go and look in a mirror. And have that real, honest realization of what you see. If it's a product of your environment, whatever the case may be, whether it's positive or your idealization of what negative is, you'll have to make that very real, point to yourself. But stand up to yourself and be willing to change and be open to change. And stand up for your values, which is going to be Sun in the Taurus, which starts in 1 week. It's about to be Taurus season. So all of us are going to get ready to eat really good and nap really good. No. But yeah, so let's enjoy this last thrust of Aries energy and really use it to prioritize to make the most of our potential. So the next moon, where are we at? We're not there yet. This is planetary alignments. Mars is still in Aquarius, so that's still... finally we moved out of these like twin sets for Mars and Venus. We're like Capricorn and Aquarius. Like, okay, so now we're getting some contrast. So now there's just more of like a harmony now. Instead of this rolling snake eyes. Like, so Mars is in Aquarius. So again, it's this very straightforward, to the point, punctual way of speaking and communicating, enlightened and higher, like, scholarly energy. Have your facts together. Have everything documented, and have everything like, together, so that way you're not just floundering through, being accountable and standing up for yourself. Like I said, the sun is very much still in Aries, so we're very much still in that burning of the fields, which is so crazy because the card I pulled today is literally that. We'll get into that right now. Venus has moved into Pisces. So again, whether you're that following fish or whether you're the leader fish, you're probably the stylish fish. Either way, if you're a Pisces. But that's just where our relationships are. It's follow me or I'll follow you, and going with the flow and ease of access. So, like, really, like, take that and make that a reflection in the relationships you have. Be willing to listen and be willing to also lead. So, again, find that balance of to and fro. This is what you do for me, so this is what I'm going to do for you. Moving on from there, Mercury is in Taurus, so that's our conversation is very grounded. It's very relaxed right now. So it's like, it's giving energy in the feminine aspect, but in the male aspect, it's very much, this is me, this is my mountain, and I will die here. So you will have augments of both of those things to the conversation that you keep this week. Upcoming moons, we have a full moon in Libra that will start this Saturday, and that's transforming our relationships. So be ready, because everything that in relation to you, not just people, but money, Everything is about to transform and become new. So again, use the time now to really sit on top of that and be on top of that. Writing down new ideas, not spending the money where you don't need to. All that. Let this transformation take you to the higher, not the level and not the descension. We want ascension. So really try to integrate some of the key points I've made today, and you'll be there. Because transformation happens. That's my cat. A solar eclipse is also coming in Taurus, and that's in 3 weeks. We'll be integrating new values. So again, all that transformation happening is going to change the way that you relate to everything. So welcome it. Don't challenge it. Just you've achieved the transcendence into becoming a different person. And you can no longer claim the values of the person you were in the old world. And that could be pre-pandemic, that could be pre-millennial, that could be pre-whatever, it could be pre-1980. But you're now a different person. You are in such a different mindset. So really try to evaluate what that means to you and what that means to your own moral code. All right? So the card that I pulled is so appropriate as it's the last week in Aries. And it's called Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. And as we peer out from paradise, we see this mountainside. It's completely on fire. And if you're from California, that's probably the Cajon Pass. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's completely on fire. And if you look further in the back, there's another part of this mountain that's not burning. So within all of the wonderful abundance that we have in life, sometimes you have to let some of it go. You have to let a portion of it burn away in order to make room for new growth. Don't translate that as cutting out the negative people in your life, because again, as I'll say it 1,000 times, I have to, that's a mirror of your own doing. Burning the fields of your own identity is much more in tune with the habits and the daily practices that you were doing that allowed those connections and that negativity. So you have to be willing to burn away those parts of yourself before they become incarnate in other people and places and stuff. So if you don't like some of the people in your life, you have to burn away that part of yourself that let them in. If you don't like where you're at in your life, you have to burn away that part of yourself that enjoys living there. If you don't like the career you're in, you have to burn away the part of yourself that needs that job. And you do that by hiring your education, asking for a raise. You do that by having the courage to stand up for yourself. So again, that fire is powerful. It can move those energies within you and help them to become more stalwart as you go in life. But you have to allow it to first be burned away. I'm going to go silent for a moment. I'm going to let you look at this card and find whatever meaning there is for you in it. So again, um, just in closing, let it burn, but control the fire. You don't have to let everything you've worked for and the person that you are be dismissed so easily, and the relationships dismissed so easily that you know. I mean, if you're in an abusive situation, if you're in a situation that you need help, get the help that you need to get out of it. But I mean, but for the majority that I'm speaking about is don't deny what you've done for the world you've created. Like really sit with it and look at all that you've helped it advance. And if you can do that, then you can be grateful for where everything is, and then you can release whatever it is to wherever it needs to be. All right, and with that, I'm going to end today's session, and you guys, you have a wonderful, stellar week. And to those of you who've been supporting me along this journey, the number cranks up like one or two ever so often, and that's really exciting. So again, just want to say thank you to the people who check these out, and I support you, so thank you for supporting me. All right, and on that note, enjoy your week.